Cool, cool. So, before we get started, everybody, tonight, like I said, this is our first day of the GovTech Summit, and we have an amazing lineup for you all tonight. So, first, we're going to be kicking it off with two great GovTech recruiters. We have Stephanie Holman here from Metrostar, and then we also have Ricky Daring here as well. He is from Metronome, right?
Yeah, don't get us confused. There's Metrostar,
Very
Metronome.
similar,
Met
similar logo, similar
Metronome's
names,
better,
but two
but
different companies.
No relation. I don't know this guy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And then we are going to be covering a lot of different things tonight over across this summit that we're going to have. So this is going to be a three-part summit, everybody. So if you're registered for today, you will get automatically registered for the next 2 days. So we're also going to be going live as well on Saturday, September 6th from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be going live again on Monday, September 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And we have an amazing lineup, and you're going to be learning a lot of information. So typically the way that this will flow is they're going to be quick, kind of like fireside chat, so that way people can get as much information out of this as possible. And then with this information as well, depending on if there's time, we might be able to take questions throughout the talk. But there's just so much information, and we have 20 minutes to go while we're going through. So I just want to make sure that people are able to, get as much value as possible. And this is being brought to you all through GovTechCon. GovTechCon is happening next week. So if you don't have a GovTechCon ticket yet, make sure that you get one. You can use code Summit50 to take 50% off your ticket. And you can grab that at govtechcon.com. So let me pull up the schedule for tonight. Sorry, y'all got multiple screens, multiple laptops. So first, what we're going to do is kick this off with our first talk is going to be hiring in GovTech from a technical recruiter point of view. So as you can see here, we have Stephanie Holman and Ricky Daring, and we're just going to jump right into it because I feel like you all are going to have a lot of information, and I've given a good background on everything. Make sure you all share this on LinkedIn, anywhere that you feel like people need this information. But first, to kick off, I guess could you both introduce yourself and just let us know, what are you doing as a GovTech recruiter, like the company that you work for, type of talent that you're looking for, just to give everybody a quick background on you all.
yeah, go first, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you, Ricky. Yeah. Hey, I'm Stephanie Holman. I work for Metrostar as a technical recruiter. If you haven't heard of Metrostar, that saddens me. That means I'm not doing my job. But we are a digital services and solutions company. We partner with government agencies to deliver human-centered tech solutions, right? So, like, what does that mean? We specialize in cloud, DevSecOps, data, design, a lot of really cool AI stuff. So that is what I recruit for. Over to you, Ricky.
Hey, thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you tonight. So, Ricky Deering, I'm Senior Director of Talent for Metronome. And yeah, we do similar stuff to Metrostar. We're on DoD contracts. If you can think of some Iron Bank contracts like that, we're on some of the Space Force contracts, and we hire for software developers, software engineers, cybersecurity professionals, all of that in the DoD space. So looking to share some stuff with you guys today, and feel free to reach out to us on Metronome. We are metronome.com, and you can find us on LinkedIn and all of our pages. So nice to meet everybody.
Nice, nice. So I guess we could just really break the ice. Now since things have kind of changed and shifted a little bit in this sector right now, from a recruiter point of view, what are you all looking for right now for job seekers when they're applying for jobs? Like what makes you want to reach out to them and call them up to get, at least a first hiring screen or first recruiting screen done, and potentially try to get them an interview and get them hired onto your team?
Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah, I know for me and our recruiting team, we love initiative from candidates, right? If you want to reach out to us, I tell anybody that's going to, look for a job and job seeking, especially in cybersecurity, right? If you want to look out to us, find us on LinkedIn, it's okay to reach out to recruiters. You actually want to make friends with your recruiter as much as possible because you can build that relationship. And, you know, in GovCon, things shift and flow, right? Like one month it's slow, then the next month I got like 30, 40 things I'm chasing. So building that relationship is essential. You might not get hired right now, but you have someone in your pocket that's helping you, building you, and growing you. So that's big piece. Have initiative. And then for us, it's apply. Apply to a job, apply to something, read our website, know a little bit about us. So it helps kind of break the ice and lets us like flow into things quickly. The more I know right off, the better I can be like, okay, this person's great. I want to reach out. I want to screen because we have thousands and thousands of candidates reaching out to us each week. So you got to differentiate yourself with that. So that's kind of just, I think, from a profile perspective, not skills, but reaching out, initiative, and just knowing about the company. And I always love it if someone says, hey, Ricky, I love Metronome. I read about some of the things you're doing. I saw your open positions. I've applied to this position. Here's my resume. Boom. Like you open the door right there. I'm ready to come talk to you right away.
One thing I want to add on there, we've all been on websites where there's like a tell me more link, right? Or I don't see a position that matches up. Enter your resume here. Those exist for a reason, right? To Ricky's point, a lot of different positions come, you know, all at once. Sometimes they come next week, next month. So if you have the opportunity to get your resume to a recruiter and get it into their system, ATS, it's a big digital filing cabinet, get it in there, right? Because a lot of times we're going back to people that we have either previously engaged or shown interest in the company. So when you go on these websites, again, you see those areas where you can enter your resume, get it in there. It's coming to people like Ricky and myself on this side. It's not just going into a black hole, never to be seen again.
Yeah, great point. And Simone, I don't know if you're handling questions, but I saw in there that Samaya had one. Are we just going to free flow and answer?
Yeah, does she have one? Is it in the Q&A? Let me see. I don't see anything in Q&A box
Oh,
yet.
it's in
Let's
the
see.
chat. Sorry.
Um, yeah, so Samaya has a question. How do you become friends with a recruiter without seeming transactional? I'm sure you all see that all the time. Both of you all are pretty big on LinkedIn. So I guess how does somebody navigate that, you know, trying to become friends with recruiters?
We're we're real people too. Like that's you know I just got off a walk before this and I did eat lunch, breakfast, and dinner today. No, I joke because like follow your recruiters, follow the webpage, stay up on some of the stuff, right? Like I know any good recruiter in my team for sure. We're on LinkedIn, we're engaging with our audience, we're sharing things. So just engage with us. Send a message and say, hey, I just want to connect. I applied. And if it doesn't work out, we have pipelines. So we keep people close to us and just build that relationship because we're always going to be able to reach out to you. But I would say LinkedIn, you know, connect on LinkedIn if you can, comment on followings if you want, and just engage with us on any of our social networks, social medias, because you're going to get outreach there. You're going to reach, you know, us, and then you may connect with other people. So I think LinkedIn's a good place to start to create friendships and then just reach out every now and then and engage.
Yeah, and to add to that, we want the same thing, right? And so I think part of that just starts with understanding each other a little bit better. So job seekers, you're looking for roles, right? That is your job. You're looking for active roles. But on our end, we're looking for you. We're looking to fill our roles. I don't know a single recruiter that is not metriced, right? Like we have a job to do to find the talent. And I think when you understand where each other's coming from, it makes it a little less transactional. When you're reaching out, I always say be as direct as possible. On the recruiting side, we are constantly prioritizing every day, every minute we're prioritizing. So if somebody's going to reach out through LinkedIn, let's say, I need to know what type of titles with an S, right? Not just one, but what kind of titles are you targeting? What location are you looking for? Are you open to relocating? Are you not? If you want to put your salary in there, hey, great. Then I know which roles to pull for you very quickly. Do you have a clearance? What level? So just get straight to the point. I get a lot of messages that are AI generated, you know, praising me and my experiences. Like, I don't want that. I want to hear about you. What is it that you are looking for so I can help you?
Yeah, I think people tend to forget that in the job search, like you said, Ricky, that you all are humans, right? And I think if you approach recruiting or just approach recruiters, or even if you go to conferences, right, and you don't treat them like people, it just becomes blatantly obvious, right? So I always like to tell people try to find something in common, and like you said, Stephanie, as well, like be upfront about what you want. Like don't just tell them whatever you think they want to hear, because then you're both not going to be aligned. And then I saw in the chat as well, somebody asked again for you all's name. So Ricky Daring, he's from Metronome, and then Stephanie Holman from Metrostar. So we'll send out the information as well for everybody too after this too. And then I know, Stephanie, you wanted to talk about the overall just like process for recruiting for somebody who wanted to try to land a role in GovTech in this industry. I know we have some people in here are cleared, some people who aren't cleared. So I guess if you wanted to walk through that process.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So when you're looking for a role, it all starts with the job description. I generally will tell people that reach out and they have the same question, which is like, how can I position myself best, right? It starts with your resume. So when you're looking at these job descriptions, especially in GovCon, I would target three similar sized companies, right? Go to their websites, pull similar titles, and take those job descriptions. You're going to see common themes in the requirements. And when it comes to a job description, you really need to know how to read it, right? Some job descriptions are going to say, this is what you must have in order to qualify. So, I mean, take that as gospel. Like we're telling you, you need to have this. And it's not because we just threw it on there and we want you to have it. It's because the government customer that's supported requires that, right? So if you don't have those requirements yet, work towards that, right? So again, pull three different job descriptions. You're going to see those common themes, and then that should be something you can build into your resume to just have a better resume, send it out to companies, and hopefully get more screenings. On the recruiter side, and sorry, I'm talking through this stuff pretty quickly here because we're on limited time, but what we're looking at, we're getting your resume. That is the first thing we're seeing, right? We're not immediately calling you. We're looking at your resume to see, do you have the qualifications or come close to having the qualifications that are listed in the job description? And does that match up or does it come close enough, right, to warrant a phone call to then get on that tech screen and talk through, your experience? But also remember, it's not just about us, it's about you too. Like, what are you looking for, right? What's an ideal situation for you? What type of team do you want to join? What kind of things do you want to work on that get jazzed up? I think sometimes folks come into these conversations and they think like they have to be, perfect and all this stuff. It's like, no, 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 this is your life. Like, come with your questions. Make sure this fits you. Because once you start, it's not me, it's not Ricky. Starting in the role, like it is you, on day one. So I would say just 10 basic things here that you should be thinking about, right? You want a good, solid position overview from your recruiter. You want to know where's the location? Is this within driving distance? You want to know the work schedule, hours, flexibility, type of contract. If you do not know what a period of performance is, I'm going to repeat it again. Look it up after this. Period of performance, contract length, you need to know that. Salary range, compensation, hiring timeline, right? Like how many interviews are there going to be? The team, the mission, all of those things a good recruiter will already front load. They're going to talk through so you know what you're going into.
Yeah, and I think something that I see from the job seeker point of view is a lot of people think that a lot of time the resumes aren't looked at, but I find in GovTech, like the recruiters do read the resumes a lot. And it's funny, right? Because sometimes like you might get a rejection really fast and they're like, there's no way anybody read it. But really your resume just might not align. And as a recruiter, I'm sure you all can tell really quickly when somebody resume doesn't align to the jobs that they're looking for. So when somebody's looking for jobs now, and they're applying for different roles, I guess what do you think is the best way for job seekers to align their current skill set to the roles that, they're trying to get that you have posted on your site?
Yeah, I can take that one. I'll say you got to do your homework on it too, right? And there's so many resources that you can use. You can use AI to help you. There's resume builders, there's all of that. But I hit on that. Reading the job description, like Stephanie said, and going detail line by line to make sure that one, you want to fit at least 80% of that right away. Like if I get your resume, I want to see that you fit 80% of my job description. And out of that 80%, you need to fit 100% of like hard requirements. If it's on site, it's on site. If it's a hybrid, it's hybrid. If it's San Antonio, it's in San Antonio. If you don't want to move to San Antonio and you don't want to work on site, don't apply, right? You're going to waste your time probably. So just knowing those specifics, those are hard requirements. Anything in cybersecurity right now, if you don't have CompTIA Security Plus, IET Level 2, a lot of the contracts coming out right away want that. So if you don't even have that, that's something you want to think about. And we can talk about like steps in your career that you need to do, but you have to understand as well as a candidate what the government needs for these contracts because we are bound by those. So we can't have exceptions a lot, and very rarely are we going to do exceptions. So knowing that job description and doing the work on that's going to help. And I always say that you could do, I've heard all the time someone's, we've heard out there, I've applied to 400 jobs and like that is a time consuming process. I'd like to know how long it takes to do that because in my opinion, you could apply to 10 jobs in a week and really be strategic, really take your time, do a good resume, connect with the recruiter and build a relationship. And those 10 applications would eventually, I would say, potentially lead you to a job either current or down the road. So take your time like that. Don't shotgun blast your resumes and hope and pray, like be very strategic about it, the job descriptions and all of that.
To add to that too, I think sometimes folks overthink it with their resume, thinking they have to get to a person like myself or Ricky to have our eyes on it to QC it, right? And so to Ricky's point again, read the job description, but use the resources that you have. Hey, pull a family member, a friend, and say, do you mind looking at my resume? This is the job description I'm targeting. Can you see it, right? And I say that on purpose because it should be that obvious that if there are certain tools that we're looking for, Splunk, Fortify, whatever, and it is listed in the job description, anyone reading that should be able
Yeah.
to see that you have those keywords in your resume.
And lastly, I'll say the reason that we do that is one, for quality control, but two, there's another variable in all of this. If we're prime on a contract, typically speaking, the government makes a decision. And the way the government makes that decision is off of your resume. That's why we're so hard about resumes, is because I could get it to the government and spend all that time with you, and we could spend all that time and not even get you forward. So doing all the work up front's vital.
Yeah, I talk about this a lot about the contractual requirements. Like there are just some that they can't bend on, right? I know my dad, he's a hiring manager. They do degree waivers a lot, but even some roles you can't get a degree waiver, right? There's like, hey, this is the hard, you have to have at least a bachelor's or you have to have at least a master's, X amount of experience, have to have certain certifications. So, and I think that's what makes this industry much different from the traditional tech industry is that the requirements are just kind of like nice to haves, right? If they like you enough and if you're talented enough, they'll bring you on. But in the GovTech space, you have these contractual requirements that you just cannot bend on. And I even saw a post on LinkedIn recently where somebody had a CISSP certification and the role required a security plus. And I guess they had said that, they had it. And then when it was time for them to give their certification, they didn't have it. And, so they rescinded their offer. And they're like, this is crazy. I have my CISSP. Why do I need the security plus? But so many people overlook how important the DoD 8570 or 8140 is in this space. Do you all want to touch on that? Like seeing candidates, that maybe they're not telling the truth about certifications or qualifications and how that might impact your, recruiting process?
Yeah, when we get a contract or we bid on it and we proposed it and we've won it, we'll go through and all of that's on there. All the contract details, the PWS, the work statement, all of that's there. We go through that, pick that apart. We get all the details of the rec. And to your point, Simone, whatever that manual says, I was in the military for 15 years. So whatever's in the manual is in the manual and you do, right? That's how the government is. If they want a SysUp or Security Plus, very rarely are we going to get waivers. It's even hard for us to get waivers on hybrid, work from home, virtual, things like that. So I tell candidates when you go into your job search, know where you're at with a lot of those. Are you willing to grow? Are you willing to take courses for this job? Are you willing to not be virtual? Are you willing to do some things that other people aren't to get the role? Those are going to be some differentiators that are going to like make a difference.
To add there too, you have to be able to speak to your experience. So obviously, there's chat GPT, you can put a job description in there, you can throw your resume in it. You can have chat GPT create a new resume for you. That's fine. Use those tools to your advantage. But please, 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 you have to QC the product that comes out of that. Because when you send it to me, right, I'm reading your resume. I'm going to screen you on that. And if you make it past me, which I hope you do, right? That's the goal. But then you get to my hiring manager and you cannot speak to your experience, right? Um, it doesn't end well. So I just want to throw that, word of caution out there. You really make sure your resume accurately represents the experience that you have. And it's okay to be transparent. It's okay if you don't have the experience, that the hiring manager is asking you about. The hiring managers that I have worked with, I will die on this hill. They would much rather you be transparent and say, you know what, I don't have it. I have something similar. But do not talk in circles hoping they will get lost. They never get lost. They don't forget what they've just asked, right? So they'd rather go with someone that's honest and transparent because that means we can upskill you. We can train you. We can work with you.
Yeah, yeah. I would, could you all touch on that a little bit more, right? Especially because, people using AI for their resumes now, and the AI might fluff it up a little too much, and then they can't speak to their resume. Like, how is AI impacting the hiring process for you all on the recruiting side?
Yeah, I'll take this one again. So, what I'm seeing right now is increased use of AI tools during interviews, right? So, what that looks like in real time with hiring managers is the person comes across a little too heavily scripted. Now, obviously, we want to be careful, right, and not assume. So, what a hiring manager will do, because again, these are highly trained, technical calibrated interviewers. They've interviewed hundreds, thousands of times. They'll take it an inch deeper, right? And that's where you see the train kind of leave the tracks because that the person they can't go to that depth, right? And so they instantly know. From at the recruiter level, um, am I out here shaming people for using those technologies? No, but I do want you to know the reality of it. So I'm warning folks at the screening stage, like, I just need you to show up as you and represent your experience appropriately. Like, please do not use those tools because here is what could happen and what has disqualified people before.
Yeah. And I'll add that if anything, it's a paradox because AI makes it easier on the front end, but it makes it harder for the hiring team and us to verify what's true. So, if anything, it may on the front end create some sort of streamlined process with resumes, but then on the back end, the recruiters, we're going to ask you more questions. We're going to verify that things are right, stuff like that. So, a good way with that is like if you've done projects like GitHub, I'm on GitHub, if you're on GitHub doing projects, we'll find you on there. Share some of those, like get on GitHub, some of the coding things, share some of those things as well. So that way it helps validate a little bit more of your experience. But for us, AI has caused us on the back end to confirm more and validate more. And during those interviews, the interviews are going to be more truth finding, skills finding, and information about like how you can solve the problems for the job.
A quick tip too, I want to throw out there. So a lot of companies, after you interview, they do not give feedback, right? For liability reasons. That's pretty well known. So at the recruiter screening stage, what you as a candidate can do is you can ask, hey Stephanie, hey Ricky, Is there anything that you think from a hiring manager perspective is a gap or a concern, right? I'm screening you. I can give you that feedback, and that's intel for you to jot down. That also gives you, it tips you off as to what a hiring manager might dig into as well. So again, really think strategically about those screening calls.
Yeah, I don't recommend anybody to use AI because like it's not going to save you on the job, especially during the interview, right? If you can't make it past the interview, it just really shows that your skill set or maybe I don't know, sometimes it could be personality, but really a lot of times it just shows your skill set is probably not where it needs to be to actually perform well on this job. So you shouldn't need to use AI to make it past any of the technical interviews. I mean, even with most of the technical interviews that I've been in, the main goal from the hiring manager and the team that you might be working with, they just want to see how do you think, how do you solve problems, like did you lie on your resume, right? And will you be able to do this job, right? They don't want to hire somebody who they're going to have to get up to speed, and unless it's like a junior level role, maybe internship, something like that. But yeah, there's definitely no need to use AI tools to cheat on any of these interviews because we're in the GovTech space. You don't want to get blackballed or labeled as somebody who's a cheater in interviews, right? So it's just an integrity thing. So I know we have some questions in the Q&A box. Do you all want to answer some questions?
Sure.
Let's see. So somebody was asking, does Metronome and Metrostar, do you all sponsor clearances?
So yeah, Metronome, we will sponsor clearances. It's not for everyone though, and we're limited on who we do that with. It's very, I don't want to say it's rare, but if I have upcoming proposals or an upcoming contract I'm going to work and you fit it perfectly, not perfectly, you fit it well, and I know I'm going to hire you or pipeline you and you have a lot of skills, for sure. Like we will do our best to get you a clearance and to sponsor you. It's easier for a TS or a TS into SCI, but the secret takes a while, right? So like we have to forecast 6 months to a year for that one, but we can sponsor.
Yeah, same thing on this end for Metrostar. We have a couple positions that we sponsor like secret level clearances on. It's all in the job description, it's in the wording, right? So you want to look for those specific keywords of like ability to obtain secret clearance. That's how you know if a company on that particular role is offering clearance sponsorship. I'm a numbers girl, so like I have 129 positions open. Out of 129, I probably have five that offer clearance sponsorship. So, yeah, it takes a hot minute to find those, but they're out there, they exist. Like, if that is your goal, you want to get into the cleared space, get into the cleared space.
Definitely, definitely. And we have another question from Adrian. Adrian asked on the relocation note, are you open to applicants from other locations if relocation assistant isn't offered for the position?
Yeah, you mean, so I guess the question is if there's no relocation assistance, can that person still relocate? Is that the question?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they'd have to do it on their own and move. The good thing about a lot of the defense stuff is it's near military bases, it's all over. So there's pretty much a state you can work in. But yeah, like a lot of places won't cover reimbursement either. So you're either going to have to be in location or move for that. And I think I saw a question in there that I'll hit on too. As you know, a lot of the virtual roles are slowly declining and going away. A lot of the government's working on site. They're moving people back on site to on-site locations. We'll probably see a lot more of that over the next couple of years. So a lot of these virtual jobs that are already in play are probably going to go away in the future too. So something to think about.
Yeah, I would never rule someone out because they're applying, they live in the state of California and they're applying for a job based in DC. That's why we do screening calls and have those conversations. But I'm going to tell you this, that's going to be one of my first questions right out of the gate, right? To protect your time and mine is asking that. Are you open to relocating? Because this position does not sit remote, not hybrid with commuting in every couple of weeks. That's something we got to talk about.
Definitely. And so for the last question we'll take in the Q&A before we wrap up this amazing session. Um, Are the roles that you all hire for, are they all in the DC area? I feel like that's a major myth as well. Everybody thinks to work in GovTech, you got to be in the DC area and there's no jobs anywhere else.
Yeah. No, that's not true. I got jobs in St. Louis, DC, San Antonio, Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, all over.
Yeah, same here. We've had roles sit in Colorado before. Like Ricky said at the very beginning, different, GovTech companies, we get new contracts here, and like things change, right? So who knows what we'll have next year? Not everything is based in the DC area. And that's why stay close to these recruiters. You have a good experience, and you're, in an area that's not supported, ask them to keep your contact information, add you to the system, send a follow-up if they do open some roles in your area.
Yes, those are all great tips. So, Ricky, Stephanie, definitely appreciate you all coming out to day one of this GovTech Summit. Where can everybody find you all at? Where should they apply for jobs? Stephanie, you said you got 129 jobs you're hiring for right now, recruiting for right now. Where can they find you at?
Yeah, I am 129. I'm dying. Apply. So you can apply at www.metrostar.com/jobs. It's spelled just like it sounds. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Stephanie Holman. I will put that information in the chat so y'all have it.
Yeah, same here. So www.wearemetronome.com / careers / or you can just go to LinkedIn, look up Ricky Deering. You'll see Metronome's cool little AI guys and tech stuff that we have on there, our photos. So we're big in the AI stuff. So you can find us. And then I have our website linked to my LinkedIn, but feel free to connect and reach out to me if you have any other questions too. So I'll do my best to answer all of them.
All right. Thank you so much, Ricky and Stephanie, for coming out. This was a great fireside chat kicking off this summit. We have three more chats coming after this. So hopefully we can do this again virtually, have more questions that people have, more tips from the recruiter side, and also help you fill some of these roles as well. All right. Thank you, you
Thank
too.
you.
Bye, guys.
All right. All right. Next, we have, let me bring her up. Let's see, Kanika, let's go. Kanika, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, I'm super excited to have you out here. So, let me just drop the schedule in here again so you all can see. We just finished wrapping up the first panel inside of our GovTech Summit. So, if you all don't know, this summit is hosted by GovTech Con. So, all of this type of information is the same type of valuable information you're going to find at GovTechCon, which is happening next week, starting next Friday. So you can grab your virtual ticket or you can grab an in-person ticket before those sell out. And they're 50% off with the code Summit50. And Kanika was one of our speakers last year for GovTechCon. I wanted to bring her back in for the summit. She's been super busy. She has a lot of gems, a lot of experience. How long you been working in the government technology space, Kanika?
2 decades, 20
Two,
years.
20 years of experience. Okay. So if you don't know Kanika's background, you're going to have to go in and look it up. But Kanika is going to be talking about ServiceNow, right? She's going to be talking about how you can fast track your GovTech career with ServiceNow. I think that a lot of people are completely overlooking the ServiceNow ecosystem, even though it's one of the biggest, or it is the biggest ITSM platform that's out there. And a lot of people don't know this either, but ServiceNow themselves are sponsoring clearances. So I've had multiple students that have landed roles with ServiceNow that are sponsoring top secret clearances. So if this is something that you're interested in, maybe you're not as technical or you want to just focus on a specific platform. It's kind of similar to Salesforce, but different, very different. But yeah, I'll let Kanika take it over. So Kanika, we're super excited to have you. Everybody, if you have questions, make sure you drop them in the Q&A box and I'm gonna come back to them.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Super excited to be here today to talk about how to fast track your career in GovTech with ServiceNow. I've been working with ServiceNow for almost 7 years. So I'm a senior AI product manager, and I've been leading a lot of ServiceNow implementations for the federal government. So today I'm going to walk through, I'm going to go ahead and share, I can share my screen, right? I'm going to walk through a presentation, right?
Yeah, are you able to share it?
Yeah, I'm about to share
Okay,
now.
cool.
Let's see. 1 second. Let me pull up. Oops. Actually stop sharing. Can you stop sharing for a second?
Oh, am I sharing my screen?
I think I see myself.
Yeah, you're good. Is it
Okay.
up?
I was
Mhm.
trying to share my share my computer screen without sharing my
Oh yeah, you're it'll come off. I can remove the spotlight. It'll come off once you
okay,
share a
hold on one
screen.
second. Let me pull up the all right. Let me see. Can y'all see the screen now? Can you see the presentation? All
Yep, I
right.
can see it.
All right, so super excited tonight to be here. I'm going to be talking about how to fast track your GovTech career with ServiceNow. I think this is an opportunity for you to really get to know what ServiceNow is and what types of certifications and skills you need in order to land a successful GovTech career. All right, so this is me. I was born in Washington, D.C. I have 20 years of GovTech experience. I'm a senior AI product manager. I'm a certified Scrum Master, certified product owner, and recently I became a certified Agile facilitator. I love collecting sneakers of all kind. I have a big sneaker collection, and with this amazing boom in AI, I am an AI geek. So I have been dabbling into AI, and I did create my first AI solution project with using a virtual agent chatbot in ServiceNow as one of my last major GovTech projects. All right. So let's get into today's presentation. So what is ServiceNow? So ServiceNow is a cloud-based platform that a lot of organizations within the government use to automate their business workflows and IT operations. So some of the most popular things when you think about ServiceNow is people are using it for their IT service desk. You need to request a computer, you need to reset your password, you need to put in a ticket. People are using ServiceNow for their IT operations in their IT service management services. One thing about ServiceNow, it's a low-code platform, so it provides pre-built applications and tools that can help you optimize your processes a lot faster. So a lot of things are done out of the box. You can configure things and it can be done out of the box. And also, it's an enterprise service management. So enterprise solutions can be done and built across the organization within government. ServiceNow is such a huge platform. We can create different types of customer support um, modules and applications for our HR team, for our IT service desk, for our security operations team, for our GRC team. So it's enterprise. It can be used across multiple different offices within an organization for various different types of reasons. So ServiceNow is definitely something I think that people should take a look at because you can bring your transferable skills into this platform. All right, so let's talk about the growth of ServiceNow. ServiceNow has not been around a very long time. ServiceNow definitely has been around within the last 15 years, but just within this last year, they have generated $12 billion in revenue. When I think about revenue and I think about the growth of the platform, it lets me know that there are a lot of customers especially within the GovTech space, that are buying ServiceNow licenses and they need to implement that for federal government clients. So when we think about the amount of revenue that they're making, I look at that as job opportunity. I look at that as opportunity for you to be able to work with various different ServiceNow partners, which are these government contracting companies that actually provide ServiceNow services to the federal government. So you have over 1,800 customers, and you have over 1,000 global service technology partners within the ServiceNow ecosystem. And every day, this ecosystem is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, so let's talk about the platform. What is the platform and what does it really do? So it does rapid application development. So ServiceNow has low-code platform capabilities, which means that they have out-of-the-box configurations that doesn't require a lot of custom coding. So they have a lot of modules, a lot of workflows that you can just spin up within the ServiceNow instance and environment, and it doesn't require a lot of coding. So there's rapid application development. There's a lot of drag and drop WYSIWYG editor type functionality within the platform. So this allows organizations to really develop fast. And this is why it's also good to look at being a ServiceNow developer, because it's not like being a traditional developer. One thing about it, it is very secure and stable. That's why the federal government has widely adopted ServiceNow. And the citizen development, it really empowers business users and people to really transform their ideas into really, really great solutions. So it's one of those platforms that if you feel like you're new to tech, it's everyone can learn because it's low code development. All right, so let's talk about some of the ServiceNow roles. What are some of the in-demand roles within the ServiceNow ecosystem? I think these are some of the most popular roles, but there is a long list of ServiceNow roles. You can go into ChatGPT and you can ask what other ServiceNow roles exist, but I'm going to give you these 4 tonight. So ServiceNow developer, that is the person that's going to develop the ServiceNow applications for users within the platform. Then you have the administrator. They oversee the ServiceNow platform. They make sure that the platform is operating with the right users and the right users are in the right groups. Also, they want to make sure that the performance of the platform is working correctly and that it's secure. So the developer and the administrator, they kind of they have different roles and different responsibilities. Then you have the technical architect. This is the OG within the platform. They probably have been a developer and an administrator in their past life within their ServiceNow career, and they know everything about the platform. They know a lot about the different modules. They understand how to implement solutions. They work a lot with the leadership and end users and customers to make sure that the solutions are developed correctly and to make sure that the developers and the administrators are doing the right thing for the customers when they're building new applications. Then you have business analyst. This is the person that's going to work with the ServiceNow project manager, which is not listed here, and they're going to go out and develop business requirements and technical requirements to make sure that the developer builds the right solutions for the end users and their government customers. But there's a lot of different roles. You have the project manager, you have the QA tester who builds the test cases and tests the ServiceNow platform. You have people who are just ServiceNow consultants. You have just a long list of roles. These are just the most popular that I wanted to add here that you will see for GovTech roles. All right, let's talk about the developer a little bit more. They're building the application. They're customizing workflows. They're incorporating AI now, and they're building user experiences within the platform. Their job is to work closely with the business stakeholders and to make sure that the requirements are documented correctly so they can go make sure that they can build the right solutions. And their job, a lot of times, is to troubleshoot things that are not working correctly. When customers need changes to existing applications, when things are not working correctly as planned, their job is to go check the code, fix the code, and redeploy the code back to the users. All right. So let's get into administrator. This is a very popular role within the ecosystem. And ServiceNow administrators, their job is really to really focusing on making sure that the configuration of the platforms is working correctly, making sure the users are in the right groups and supporting users. I may need to reset my account. I may need to be added to a new user group, and I may need to understand how am I going to configure and develop certain workflows within the application. Their job is to make sure that I, as the end user or as a developer, stay compliant with the ServiceNow way of doing things. And they're going to constantly monitor the platform. They're going to be making sure things don't get broken. And when they do, they're going to flag it and they're going to go back to the developers and they're going to tell them to fix different things that they may have built. So you have central administration, that's the day-to-day, process optimization, making sure workflows and automated tasks are doing the right thing when it comes to data integrity. And then you have day-to-day user support and system monitoring. So it's just like any typical administrator. If you think about a network administrator or a systems administrator, you're just specifically doing it for the platform. All right, so this is technical architect. Their job is to really focus in on system design. As you see, this is beautiful picture here on the side. Their job is to make sure that we are designing solutions and we are making sure that when we're integrating, because ServiceNow integrates with a lot of third-party tools, that we're doing it in a way that's going to make sure the platform has very great performance and making sure that nothing else breaks in the platform from other things that we've built from a development perspective. An architect provides a lot of leadership to the ServiceNow developers and administrators, making sure that they are doing things with quality and they are adhering to the best practices within the ServiceNow low-code platform. You have to do it the ServiceNow way because this is a very structured architecture within this platform. And then they're also building roadmaps, which is the strategic alignment. They're meeting with business owners within government agencies and leaders within government agencies and stakeholders, and they are developing a bigger strategy for what government agencies want to do utilizing ServiceNow. These are the skills. So you want to learn ServiceNow? This is what I recommend that you do. I recommend that you get the hands-on skills. And the way that you can do that is that you can go directly to the ServiceNow. You can go on Google and sign up for the ServiceNow University. Simone can drop the link in the chat, or you can Google it on your own and you can sign up for free ServiceNow training. Free. Most of it is free. There's a lot of online courses and tutorials. You can create your own developer instance through ServiceNow, and you can actually start building your own applications. There are a lot of ServiceNow online communities. You can develop a ServiceNow online community profile, and you can sign up through ServiceNow for free and be a part of their online community. That online community has thousands and thousands of developers and administrators and architects and business analysts who have a wealth of knowledge, have more knowledge than me, and they can actually help you with, with the things that you need to learn through forums, through the ServiceNow community. You can go to conferences and meetups. There's a big ServiceNow conference that takes place every year in Las Vegas. It's called the Knowledge Conference. But if you can't afford that, you can go to ServiceNow meetups directly in your city and state by looking up that information on meetup.com. So hands-on experience, you're going to go to ServiceNow University and get your developer instance. You're going to take the online courses through the university, and then you're going to join communities online. All right, so in order to get a GovTech job, you need to get the hands-on skill sets first. You need to take the courses second. And third, you need to get certified. A lot of these GovTech roles are looking for people who have these certifications. So the first certification is the entry-level certification, which is the systems administrator certification that most people would need to do all of the roles that's up under it. So in order to be a developer or an implementation specialist or an architect, you're going to have to take the CSA, which is the ServiceNow Systems Administrator. That's going to get you acclimated to understanding the platform and understanding how to configure and use the platform. Even if you want to be a business analyst or developer, the CSA is still the entry level certification. If you want to be a developer, you want to get the administrator, then you're going to go get the CAD, which is the CAD, which is the Certified Application Developer Cert. And that is for someone who strictly wants to build custom applications within the ServiceNow platform. Then you have a main line, a long list of certified implementation specialist certifications where you get certified in specific modules. So some people are ITSM implementation specialists. Some people specifically have the HRSD, which is the Human Resource Service Delivery certification, and these are implementation specialists. These certifications will be great for your business analysts, your project managers, your consultants who don't want to code or don't want to be an administrator, but they want to be an implementation specialist and they want to actually work with organizations and helping them implement different types of specific modules in the platform. And then the last one is the certified architect. This is the OG. This is the one that if you really want to like be amazing person who's in demand, you would later get the certified architect certification after you've had some years of experience with the platform. All right, so how do you build your portfolio? We talked about training, right? We talked about getting ServiceNow's training through the university. We talked about getting understanding of the platform. You can actually build a portfolio and a project to kind of get your foot in the door in a GovTech role. So you can build a portfolio. You can go into the ServiceNow platform. You can have your own developer instance. And what you can do is you can actually develop your own applications using the ServiceNow App Engine Studio. And you can create a use case, build something, put it on your portfolio, put it on your LinkedIn profile, put it on your resume, and you can actually be able to show people that you've built something and show them that you understand the platform. The platform is so large, it's impossible to learn everything about the platform, but I think showing them that you built something will be really great in addition to getting the certifications that I mentioned on the last slide. So you want to document your accomplishments and you want to showcase that information, share it on LinkedIn, share it on LinkedIn, share it on Twitter. I know a lot of y'all follow me on Twitter. Share it to your current job. If you're in a help desk role, let them know that you want to learn more about the ServiceNow platform and just go in and really try to learn as much as you can. A lot of that information, I'm telling y'all, is online for free through the ServiceNow University. All right. So we talked about building your portfolio. Let's talk about networking for jobs because y'all only here at GovTechCon because y'all trying to get a GovTech job. So this is a few things that I recommended. I also recommended this earlier in this presentation is building your professional network. The first thing I would do is try to connect with other ServiceNow professionals, and I would try to learn from them and ask them to either mentor me or just really watch and learn from them by connecting with them on LinkedIn or Twitter or at a meetup. You can't go into this ecosystem alone, so you're going to have to build your squad, your success squad of other ServiceNow professionals. I will start reading a lot of blogs and forums and open source projects about ServiceNow just by using Google, ChatGPT, and ServiceNow has its own blog on their website. Keep up to date with what they're launching, what they're offering. They're really, really big on AI right now. So a lot of their products and services have been around AI and AI agents and virtual agents. So be intentional about understanding where the platform is going so you can keep up with that. And like I said, if you want to look for jobs, when we talk about leveraging online platforms, there's a lot of jobs, y'all, on clearance jobs. ServiceNow, just put in the word ServiceNow. A lot of jobs will come up on clearance jobs. A lot of GovTech roles will come up on, if you go to various different government contracting websites and go to their careers page, You can go and look for ServiceNow jobs there as well. LinkedIn and Indeed, hey, there's a bunch of ServiceNow jobs out there as well. So feel free to make sure that you are leveraging these platforms to look for GovTech roles. All right, we're at the end of this talk. So I'm going to let you know that this is my contact information. So I left the R off on my name. I don't know how I did that, but this is my personal website. If you actually want to get to know more about me and this is your first time hearing about me, you can go to my personal website, kanikatolver.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to drop all my links in the chat. And on social media, I am on all social media platforms at Kanika Tolver. I'm also going to drop the link if you specifically want coaching on ServiceNow. I will drop my Calendarly link. And if you want to work with me, I specifically have a service for ServiceNow professionals. But Simone, that's the end of my talk. I hope I didn't run over time.
Oh, it's
I'm
all
gonna
good. It's all good.
stop
Thank you so
sharing
much,
here.
Kanika. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Kanika, giving us all this information on ServiceNow. Like I said, it's super slept on. Make sure y'all go follow Kanika on LinkedIn. And yeah, just thank you for coming out. Check out everything Kanika has. She is a wealth of information, always dropping gems. Yeah, so appreciate you, Kanika.
No
We will
problem.
see we will see you later. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming out.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, all right. So again, this is another session that we had for day one of the GovTech Summit, right? So again, like I said, let me know in the chat if you end up getting your virtual GovTechCon ticket, because this same type of information that we're talking about tonight is going to be the same type of information you're going to get at GovTechCon. And I want you all to realize too that it's super important to get in the room with people that are working the jobs that you want to work, right? So a lot of people from GovTechCon last year, they were able to get job offers because of people they've met at the conference, right? It's not only just about the companies, it's about making a connection with other people that are already working at these companies. So we're going to have people there from Amazon AWS. We're going to have people that work at IBM, Microsoft, at the top government contractor companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, right? Government agencies like CISA. And we're even going to have some of the state of Maryland representatives that are going to be at the conference as well. So you want to get in the room and start meeting people. And if you aren't in the GovTechCon community, Discord community, make sure you join that. Because inside the Discord community, if you're coming out virtual, that's how you're going to be able to connect with people. So you can get in for free. All right. So if you got your ticket, let me know. Next up, we have our next chat, which is going to be called, this title is Upskilling and Lifelong Learning in the Public Sector. So let me see. Asantwa, do you want to turn on your camera?
Yes, I'm more than happy to. Thank you so much, Simone. Hello, everyone. Can you
Hey,
see me clearly and hear me
yeah,
clearly?
how are you? How are you?
Awesome.
Let me see.
I'm doing so
And
well. Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks for coming out. So you actually came out to GovTechCon last year too.
I did come out to GovTechCon last year. It was a fantastic experience. I've been following the GovTech industry since I started university as a freshman in 2021, and I just graduated last year in 2024 and got into the GovTech industry. So yeah, I did come out last year.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So thank you for coming out. So what we're going to be talking about during this talk, right? So we have Asantwa Smith. Can you just give us a background on, like what it is that you're doing right now, maybe what you went to school for, and just let the people know kind of like a little bit about yourself?
I'm happy to. So yeah, like Simone said, I am Asantwa Smith. I went to university for information technology, which wasn't as common. A lot of people who were like in my peer group were going for computer science, but I was like, I want something that's kind of still technical adjacent, but I could leverage it and kind of diversify it in my own way. So I went the IT route. While in school studying for IT, I did a bunch of different roles from product management to software engineering to data analyst. And software engineering always stuck with me, but the biggest thing that I always carried with me was being able to be adaptable. So a lot of those jumps and changes just came from, okay, if this market isn't really hiring right now, how can I shift? How can I leverage myself? And I still do that now when it comes to, leveraging different skills when it comes to AI and things of that nature. So that's like a general overview about me, hitting a few of the, spaces, but yeah.
Nice, nice. So, you have a dope background for sure. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like super gung ho and just going for cybersecurity, cybersecurity, cybersecurity. That's all people talk about. So you have a background in IT, so that's pretty dope. So, we'll just kick this off, right? So how has mentorship influenced your career decisions and the professional growth that you've had so far in GovTech?
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, mentorship to me honestly has been everything. My biggest thing has always been telling people that if you can't find a mentor, like reach out to them on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, be my mentor," because that's what a lot of younger people like to take that approach. Surround yourself by influence. For example, you're a great person to just have like, okay, you have a social media platform, you put information out there showing people step by step of like, this is how to break into the industry. Some of that information is free, some isn't. But if you can't have like a direct mentor, leverage those people virtually, and those can act as your mentors. So I think having that aspect of mentorship, but also seeing it from the perspective of how can I network and find people who are not only like me in the industry, but also trying to position themselves into positions where they either want to be or where I see myself being. I think that's how you could leverage mentorship and how it's impacted me as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And so, since you're newer in the industry, right? You've been in the industry for pretty much like what, like a year now, right?
Yeah, a year now. I just
Yeah,
hit a year.
yeah.
I want to say last month, end of last month.
Nice, nice. Congrats, congrats. So like how are you upskilling right now in your career to move to that next step, right? So I guess based off of the current role that you're in, how are you upskilling so you can get to that next level in your career?
Yeah, so currently I'm a consultant at Booz Allen Hamilton, and one of the first things that I picked up early on was understand how the company flows. Like when you're new to a company and you're understanding, okay, this is a totally new industry, it's different from your big FANG companies, things like that. How do I position myself to where I can understand the industry but also upskill? One of the best ways now that I've been able to upskill is leveraging company resources. They offer things like Udemy or tools that actually like pay for learning sometimes depending on the company that you're aligned to, and that's one of the ways that I've been able to like take on upskilling. But another way is also seeing what it is that the industry is looking for and saying, okay, let me go out and get this cert, let me study for this, see how I can leverage it. And if there's a need for you to pivot in the industry, make sure you take the steps necessary, seeing, okay, let me learn about this new topic and then apply that to my role and let people know that I'm actively doing this.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And so, since you're upskilling, I know a lot of people in here like might have the same questions too. So when people are thinking about upskilling and things like that, to be able to figure out how you want to upskill, what I always tell people is that first you have to reverse engineer basically where you want to get to, right? So if you're currently either trying to get your foot in the door in tech or you're already in tech and you're trying to get to the next level, what I always recommend people to do is one, look at people that you're working with in your space and you can talk to them and see like, hey, how did you get to where you are? And then another thing that you can do as well is just going out to the job descriptions and seeing what type of skills, tools, and technologies people are asking for or companies are asking for there. And then you can start upskilling that way by doing either free labs online. Some people decide to do like Udemy courses. It just depends on whatever it is that you want to do. And then a lot of these companies, like you said, they'll pay for your upskilling. Like they'll pay for you to go to different certification boot camps, or they'll pay for you to go to different conferences.
Yeah, exactly. I think something you touched on that was really important was being sure to look at job descriptions, but leveraging platforms like LinkedIn to see people who are at the positions that you want to be at. So let's just take my company, for example. I went and looked at all the people who were local to the area that I was in positions that were either adjacent to the position I wanted to be in or that exact position. I looked at their LinkedIn bios, so then if they had a GitHub list to it, because I'm a developer, went there and looked at past projects that they took on, connected with them, asked them, hey, how can I make myself stand out in this role? Found out the things that I needed to learn to actually set myself up for success. And that really helped.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And then so I guess what are some key challenges that you've been facing in your role right now? And, how are you overcoming those challenges, especially since you're newer? I think people can learn from this in the audience as well, because we got a lot of people that are trying to get into the space.
Absolutely. So it's funny because this year, GovTech industry is very interesting because it follows, I guess, the political outside world. So this year, as I was on my journey first year at the company, I ran into an issue where there were a lot of hiring freezes, layoffs, and I was actually in a position where I almost lost my position. And to combat that, I had to make myself stand out. So one of the ways I did this to kind of not necessarily avoid, but survive the position of not being able to, not get laid off was I made sure that I was putting in 10x the effort that other people were doing. So I want to say about 8% of the company got laid off. But to combat this, I made sure I was setting up networking chats within the company. I was setting up coffee chats. If it was 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I got time on a lot of people's calendar, working from my level out and then not being afraid to work up. I think one of the most common issues I saw like amongst my peer group was some people were scared to like hit up higher level people within the firm and be like, hey, I'm going through this. This is my skill set. How can I stay? How can you guys retain me? What do I need to do? So taking that initiative and also like not being afraid to make that jump and actually go for what it is that you're trying to, I guess, go for as a whole. If you know that you want to stay at a company and there's a small way that you could prevent it and way that you can stay retained, just making sure you go for that and just go all in. So I think that's something that I would say is a challenge that I faced and kind of how I overcame it in my own way.
Definitely, definitely. So, I guess what's one piece of advice you want people to leave with tonight from, you getting into the industry, you're working at Booz Allen, which is an amazing company. I guess like how did you even get in with Booz Allen, and maybe how can other people do the same thing as you?
Absolutely. So I'll speak to how I got into Booz Allen and I guess try and provide some advice. I'm a little junior, but I'll try and get something together. So I got into Booz Allen through networking. I always tell people it's very important to network, but even the person who connected me and helped me get into Booz Allen, they're like, it was all you. Like, you don't have to thank me for, helping you this, that, and the third. It was all you and just your background. Um, while in university, I made sure to leverage my speaking skills as much when it came to having a sharp resume and leveraging like my LinkedIn. I think all throughout university, I was sharing my journey, sharing the process of what it was I was going through. And when I would interview with recruiters, they take, fascination to that. They'd see, wow, you're taking the initiative to not only showcase what it is that you're learning, but what it is that you're also passionate about. So I would say me getting into Booz Allen was a mix of just networking with the right people, being at the right place at the right time, but also setting myself up to just make sure I'm constantly networking and putting myself out there. And then you mentioned leaving people with advice today. I would say if I could leave the crowd with one piece of advice is to just keep going and believe in yourself. I know it sounds super simple, but I think the biggest thing that got me through, just finding a job post grad, especially in the tough market as this one, was constantly pushing myself every day. There were times where I was applying to, if not 10, 20 jobs a day because I knew that the average people were applying was like 10 jobs a day. So I was like, let me double it to increase my chances. So honestly, believing in yourself and just continuing to just go, something will work out. And as you're doing like this numbers game and implementing everything, something's going to come through. And you can also figure out how to iterate and things like that.
Nice, nice. Those are all great tips. Those are all great tips. So I saw people saying in the chat, yeah, you have to take initiative. I think really that's what makes people stand out, right? You can't be the type of person that you just put out an application and you just kind of sit back and wait. You have to go after it, especially in this job market, right? We had the recruiters on at the beginning of the summit, literally telling you like, hey, reach out to us on LinkedIn, right? Don't just bother them if you don't have anything like to say, but make sure that if you apply to a job, one of the tips that I like to give after you apply for a job, if it's a small company or smaller government contractor company, you typically can find some recruiters that are recruiting at that company. You can reach out to those recruiters on LinkedIn and say, hey, nice to meet you. I just applied for this job. I found on your career site. Here's my resume. I would love to figure out how I can move forward in the next step. That has worked for me so many times. Those recruiters with the smaller companies, they are going to get right back to you really quickly. So I was able to actually land a job like that as well with Exonius Federal Systems before. And so, yeah, definitely make sure that you're taking that initiative, reaching out to recruiters when you are going through the recruiting process, follow up with them. So then that way, you're always at top of mind instead of somebody that ends up like, it's easy to forget about people if you have a lot of people that are, interviewing as well. And just like if you all heard earlier, Stephanie says she has 129 roles she's recruiting for. Things are going to fall through the cracks. So you got to just be on it and be aggressive. Um, Let me see. Somebody said, can somebody put themselves on mute? Oh, you're good. You're good. So where can people find you at, Asantwa? Where can they find you at if they want to connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yes, you guys can find me on LinkedIn, Asantwa Smith. I'll drop it in the chat. But I'm also on Instagram, Tech with Asa. So be sure to check out my content there. I want to discuss, how you can leverage getting into tech, GovTech, especially with I guess not as conventional background. Something most people don't know about me is I got my bachelor's degree online. So shifting with COVID and things like that, I was supposed to graduate in 2026. I managed to graduate 2024, and it was all online and it was a successful experience. So if you guys want to hear my story and learn more about me, Tech with Ace on Instagram and LinkedIn. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Asa, for coming out. We definitely appreciate you dropping all the gems about upskilling and leveling up, especially hearing from somebody who's newer in the industry. So we definitely appreciate you for coming out. And yeah, everybody, we want to make sure that that we have our GovTech Con actual full-blown conference coming up starting next week. So the virtual conference, virtual piece of the conference starts next Friday. It starts at 9 a.m. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So again, you'll hear different sessions that are just like this. We'll also have technical workshops. We will also submit your resume to the companies that we are partnered with. AWS is going to be there recruiting. I had a government agency reach out to us today, so we'll see if they'll be recruiting as well. But we'll be sending out your resumes to our different partners. And again, make sure you join our Discord, because the Discord is where everybody's connecting. People are posting job opportunities. They're talking about different meetups. They're talking about a lot of different things. So make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you grab a GovTechCon ticket as well. So there's 50% off, so you can get you a virtual ticket or you can come in person. All right, y'all. So I just dropped it in the chat, and then let us know if you got your ticket. Let us know if you got your ticket. So we're gonna move on to our next session. And our next session is going to be mentorship and mission in GovTech careers. So we have Jhante Charles. You might know him on social media. Let me see if I get him to, all right, cool. And then your camera too.
Got you. I think it's disabled real quick. I don't know if your admin could enable it real quick.
What'd you say?
It's disabled right now. Like when I hit the camera button.
Yeah, camera button. That's weird. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, here you go. Try it.
Awesome. There we go. Should be
Cool,
good.
cool.
There we go. Nice to meet you guys. My name is Jhante Charles. Shout out to Symoné for having me on here. I really appreciate the opportunity to connect with you guys today.
Yes, yes. Thank you for coming out. So let people know about your background so they know like exactly who you are, because we're going to be talking about mentorship and mission in GovTech careers. And then we'll also be dropping some gems as well, just on the technical side too, just because I know you give out a lot of information about like how people can either get into the industry, move up in the industry. You got a lot of experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the tech space about 8 years or so. Primarily, I'm a development security operations engineer or DevOps engineer or cloud engineer, depending on the project or the task at hand. But primarily, I work with the big three cloud service providers, and I either perform automation, vulnerability remediation, and a variety of other tasks from a cloud focus. And I leverage that skill set, teach it to other people, and try to just show people that there's other spaces other than just a pure cybersecurity focus for you to get into.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's just so cyber focused.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's just so popular that that's all people know, right? Like, let me know in the
Right.
chat, how many people in here want to be in cybersecurity, right? How many people want to be in cyber? I just want to see what type of tech do you want to be working in? Yes, everybody's saying me.
Right.
Everybody's saying me, right? So everybody wants to do cybersecurity, but there's much more to the tech industry than cybersecurity, and cybersecurity can pretty much be implemented into literally every single
Absolutely.
tech career, right? Whether you're a software developer, like there's security software developers, there's DevSecOps, right? There's literally anything you're doing, sysadmins that have a security focus, any technical role has security pretty much as a focus now, especially in the GovTech space, right? So I guess since you're talking about, a lot of people getting into other careers outside of like cybersecurity, right? How are you able to really stay like motivated to continue to go down like that cloud route and talk
Mhm.
about cloud and other things since everybody's so cyber focused now?
Yeah, yeah. The one thing that keeps me grounded is the job security there. Everyone's always talking about AI and these other tools. These companies are going to be building these AI solutions in the cloud space. You being able to understand a platform deeply is going to give you the opportunity for you to skill up in a variety of other ways. If you understand that foundational cloud piece, you can learn the security things, you can learn the networking things, you can learn the application development pieces. But understanding the foundation for the next front of the tech space is going to be a huge deal for your career stability overall. And I think about that whenever I'm thinking, okay, like what should I learn? Everything in the cloud at that point. But that's how I think about it.
Yeah, so what type of certifications do you have?
Yeah, so right now I think I'm sitting at about 12 or 13. So I have certifications across all three of the big cloud service providers, Google, AWS, GCP, and I do hold the architect certifications for all of them as well too. So I am proficient and I have an understanding to just be thrown onto the platform, be an engineer, as well as to architect it from the ground up and perform automations against deploying the infrastructure, deploying the environment, as well as implement security into that process as well too via like the pipelining solutions. But the main certifications that I think are like your bread and butter for that space are going to be your associate level cloud certifications, your Azure Administrator Associate, your Google Cloud Engineer Associate, your AWS Solutions Architect Associate. Those are going to be ones that I think are very valuable and ones that you see a lot in terms of preferred requirements for cloud engineering roles. And those are just like really, really good. Some of the best certifications out there for understanding what you should be doing on the platforms.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then so since from a mentor standpoint, since you have a lot of experience in the cloud space, right? Just from like a mentor standpoint, how do you mentor other people to like help them get going in their career or just help them move up in their career?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think the most valuable piece of the mentorship that I help people with is helping them understand that you got to understand your transferable skills and you have to understand specifically where you want to go. You can't just say, hey, I want to do cybersecurity or hey, I want to do cloud engineering. You have to be specific in terms of the skills and the day to day that you want to have. If you say, hey, I want to do cybersecurity, you need to be specific about, I want to work with Splunk. I want to work with Rapid7. I want my day to day to look like me having a stand up meeting, parsing logs, and etc. Understanding the specificity that you need is going to make it easier for you to pinpoint the roles that align with your skill set. So that's the piece that I try to get people to hammer in. You want to be as specific as you possibly can be, and it'll help you narrow down your search and help you focus on the right skills you need to get that job.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I tell people that all the time. Like you can't really come up with a roadmap for your career if you don't know where
Hmm.
you're going to go, but you got to start getting some experience first before just saying like I know I want to be XYZ, right? Because they just don't know, right?
Right.
So I also want to introduce Dejanay Robinson as well. Thank you for coming out. Are you able to introduce yourself really quickly so you can jump into the conversation as well?
Absolutely. First and foremost, my sincere apologies for the tardiness. I messed up on my time zone. I am here all the way in Texas, so I slightly was confused, and then I'm here now. So it is an honor to be a part of GovTech and this experience to talk about the value and the importance of mentorship. And for me, I'm a full-time speaker, entrepreneur, and I help leaders spark courageous conversations through interactive keynotes and workshops. And so if we think about mentorship in that space, think about how important it is to have wise counsel and how important it is when we're the first, when we're trailblazers. We're the first millionaire in our family. We're the first person in our family to go get a secondary degree. We're the first in our family to obtain certifications. I also have 2 certifications in diversity, equity, inclusion. So when you're trying to seek out mentorship, sometimes it can be difficult to identify the right wise counsel because you're the first. A lot of us are the first. So while we're seeking mentorship, sometimes we have to become our own mentor, and we have to do our due diligence to identify the experts in the rooms that we're in, the virtual conferences that we attend, the mixers, the happy hours, or using social media and our network, people who are willing, open and willing to provide resources free of charge. Now, if you charge, get your bag, get your money. I understand. But there are people out there who understand the value of knowledge and information. And some of us, we're missing 1 or 2 variables that can take us from average Joe to overflow. So it's an honor to be here to add value to this conversation.
Yes, I like everything that you were saying. Definitely giving out real game. So, so DJ, so how has mentorship influenced your career decisions and your professional growth?
This is a phenomenal question. A lot of my mentorship actually started when I was in undergrad for my bachelor's degree. I had a mentor, and we were the yin and the yang, male, female, and he was raised in a different upbringing than I was. So finding a mentor that's the exact opposite, I actually challenge you all with love. I'm gonna hold your hand while I'm saying it. I challenge you all with love to find a mentor that exudes or exemplifies the exact opposite of your thought process. Here's the why. They will challenge your status quo. They will challenge your critical thinking. They will challenge your strategy and your perspective. So then when you go in these rooms where society, the government, the world tells us we aren't qualified to be there, we should never be in this room, we shouldn't want to sit at this equitable table, or we're not invited to this table, because you've had a mentor who thought so differently than you, that just challenged your status quo and your narrative. It actually is a superpower when you have someone that isn't the same. Think about those moments where we want to feel comfortable. Think about those moments where, when we go in a room and we see people who look like us, you go find your community. But I challenge us with love to find a mentor who will make you uncomfortable in every aspect of your life, because it's just going to grow you and it's going to stretch you. So that's what it looked like in undergrad. But now at my big old age of 31, everyone has become a mentor for me. People I don't know, people in my network, influencers, experts, people who are younger than me. So we have to think about that sometimes a mentor isn't someone you can pick up the phone and call. It's not someone that you have who's not easily accessible. Sometimes you can have a mentor that you just follow on social media because they're dropping gems, they're giving out information, and with technology, why not have 6 or 7 mentors, or what I like to call wise counsel?
Yeah, that's great. So Jhante, look, so just to kind of piggyback off of what DJ was saying, so being in this career and being in this industry, like, were you able to find mentorship in the cloud space early on in your career, or even like where you are now in your career? And how can people like go about that?
Yeah. In my particular scenario, it was as simple as me reaching out to someone with the position that I wanted to obtain. I happened to be in an office with someone who was a cloud architect. The conversation just started with, hey, like, what should I learn? What should I be learning for me to get to the position that you're in? They gave me a list and I went home and studied it. And the relationship wasn't as deep as you would really think of for a mentor. It was maybe probably 3 conversations I had with the person, but I took what they said and implemented it. And it led me to other opportunities to meet other higher level mentors. If you want to get to a particular income bracket, you're probably going to need a mentor that's already lived that or is presently living in the bracket that you want to rise to. But even still, I always tell people that I come in contact with, finding a mentor shouldn't necessarily be easy, not the ones that you want to build that long lasting relationship with. But the best things that you can do is one, show and do the work. Someone should be able to see and acknowledge that you're putting the work in and day out before they meet you. The second thing is show a curiosity to learn and develop in a variety of aspects of your life. You want to be able to display that I'm trying to improve and I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. And the third thing is to be likable. I would always tell people partner and find a mentor with someone that you actually like. And hopefully they like you back. But no one wants to invest in people that aren't investing in themselves and that aren't putting in the work before you start to build that relationship. So that's what I always tell people. Be likable, put the work in, and put yourself around people that are at the level that you wish to rise to.
Yeah, those are all great tips. And I think that some people need to realize that, everybody can't be your mentor, right? And it's not even for like accessibility, but everybody's not in a space to mentor you, right? But if they're putting out information, they're sharing out LinkedIn posts, or, they're giving out good gems that you can just take and apply to your life. Like you said, Jhante, take that, use it, run with it, and then, move forward in your career. I think that a lot of people find mentorship as something that's easily given out. But just like you said, mentorship that's really good is not always going to be easily given out. And I think that a lot of people should try to build relationships with people before they try to make the mentor. So I have a mentor that I have met. I mean, he's not that much older than me, when I was working at my old company. And literally, like, he was the one who helped me understand that, hey, you can jump around to different contracts while you're overseas and then get promoted really quickly, right? That wasn't an idea that I came up with. Like, he told me that, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it worked for me. And that's something that I preach, and is something that I tell other people as well. So, having the right mentors and just having a good relationship is good, and not just somebody that you're trying to like just use and take from, right? So I guess for both of you all, like, for the type of work that you're doing, like, when did you all realize that, the type of work that you're doing in tech, or even you, Dejanay, like, the type of work that you're doing is making an impact, like, on the world and just different communities?
Absolutely. I want to also add, when you're either becoming a mentor or you have a mentee, I think it's important to be intentional, right? I think removing the facade of just saying, yep, I have 6 mentees, I have this many mentees, I have a cohort of mentees, I have this program of mentees, but being intentional, because time is valuable. So what I do with my mentee now, when she first asked me, I told her, I said, I need you to tell me what you need in a mentor, because I may not be that for you. And then what specifically is it about me that drew your attention to me, and what specifically do you believe I can teach you and add and pour into your cup? Which is the perfect segue to the next question of the value of purpose, alignment, being intentional. As a God-fearing woman, I understand that not every opportunity is a God opportunity. So it's important when we talk about mentorship, people investing in you, investing time in you. It's a two-way street. It's a mutualistic, beneficial relationship. So even for those of us who are mentors now, I not saying this is an assumption, but that pride, that ego, that we know everything, let's put that on pause while we're making impact to someone who is in an impressionable state in their career, in their personal life, because mentorship supersedes our career. It also looks like you may be the only representation that's of positive influence in this person's life. You may be the epitome of what they're viewing for success. How do I solidify these contracts? What certifications do I need to obtain? But also, how do I conduct myself once I'm in this room? What language do I need to use? What should I be able to identify when the macroaggressions, microaggressions present themselves and someone tries to silence me in the rooms and in these spaces? So it's more than just here is the knowledge of expertise in a corporate space, but I also can add value to your personal life.
Oh yeah, that was a great point. For me, it's the impact that I'm having over time and how far are you from where you were when we first met versus now. That could be a salary number, that could be a job title, that could be a mindset shift. But I try to measure the impact that I have on someone's life and how drastically different they may be from the start of our relationship to the end of our relationship, or I guess the next tier of our relationship as I'm mentoring them. But those are the things that I think of. And as you said, like every opportunity isn't going to be for every person. There are some people that you just won't connect with. There are some creators, some opportunities that just won't be a good fit for you. But that clarity that you have for what is for you is refined when you have a very clear understanding of the goal or the level that you're trying to obtain. You want to measure where you're trying to be against the opportunities that are presented for you because they might not necessarily help you get there. But understanding where you came from and where you are presently and where you're going to be in the next couple months is going to be a really big measuring stick for how impactful a relationship and a mentorship can be for you.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to add that I still reach out to my mentor that knew me when I was 18 years old, when I was out here in these streets looking broke, busted, and disgusted. Okay. And didn't know much, was just naive and would frolic in the meadow of flowers and thought everything was all peaches and sunshine and rainbow. I still call on him at 31 years old, and he's known me since I was 18. Now, the conversations happen few, far, and in between, but they have more substance, right? Quality over quantity. So I still call and check in because how I needed him when I was young is not the same way that I need him now. I don't have to rely on him so much now that I'm older. So even think about when we're pouring into individuals, think about another measure and metric of success is you grow them up to where they no longer need you. You pour into them to where the overflow, they're now pouring into someone else. To me, that is the greatest level of success than any check for me. I'm not motivated by money. Yes, we have to pay our bills. I understand. But the value of a check, and yes, when you got that contract, you got that job, absolutely, that's amazing. But have I poured in you enough to where you no longer need me? And now you're passing the torch to someone behind you, and then you're implementing the same thing. That currency, to me, weighs more than any check that someone can give me, any job offer of salary, perks, and benefits, because now the next young queen behind me is going to receive information at a younger age than when I was able to receive information.
Nice, nice. So I want to ask both of y'all one more question, right? So before we wrap up this fireside chat, how do you know when an opportunity is not for you? When it's something that you should maybe pass up on, right? Because I know a lot of people see things and we have shiny object syndrome, or you think every new opportunity or every new thing is meant for you. How do you know when you should probably just skip on that and just stay on the path you were already on?
Mhm. I'll say personally, to me, if the numbers don't make sense, and I don't just mean the hourly rate, I don't just mean the base salary, I also mean the time in terms of investment and in time in terms of when you're approached with the opportunity. Some of these things have to be in alignment. I just got a job offer today. I'm probably going to turn it down. It's the timing, the investment of time to manifest the opportunity, and then of course the hourly rate and the salary does come into play. But I'm a very analytical person personally. I do like to think about all of the numbers. I like to think about the time a lot, but those are the baseline pieces for me. A lot of the time, I think a lot of people make decisions based on emotion, but I really like to dig deep into the numbers and see if I can find some type of alignment there and then base my decisions from that. That's just me personally.
I think that's such a phenomenal perspective and answer. And for me, going back to purpose, alignment. So what I share with clients and folks that I'm speaking with is identify what your non-negotiables are. And what the non-negotiables are for me and for my peer across from me are going to be different. So I think it's clear how get clear before the contract is presented, even before you're searching for opportunity. What are your non-negotiables? So no matter what the offer looks like, no matter what room is presented, no matter what stage I want to speak on, no matter what opportunity or mentor that has all of these accolades and this dissertation like resume, I'm not willing to compromise these three things. I am not willing to compromise my mental health, but I will not take anything less than this. Or I'm willing to take less if I can show up unapologetically in this space with boldness and the audacity to speak truth and to have integrity, despite what this package of an opportunity looks like. So I encourage everyone on this call as we're navigating this journey called life, and we're trailblazers and being curse breakers and breaking stereotypes and stigmas. Don't lose who you are for the bag. Don't lose who you are for that flight to that country, for that opportunity. Identify what your non-negotiables are, because when you make these choices and you can look at yourself in the mirror and be proud that I'm the first millionaire of my family, and then I just put my whole family on instead of handing out money. Because when there's money problems, money doesn't solve money problems. We have to solve the system. We have to solve the root of the issue. So look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what are my non-negotiables?
All right, that was amazing. That was amazing. Look, everybody liked that. Everybody said y'all came and dropped gems tonight. So I appreciate y'all for coming out to talk about mentorship and mission when it comes to working in your career, right? So where can everybody find you all at? Where can they find you on LinkedIn, social media? How can they connect with you too?
Yeah, you guys can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Cloud Tech Exec. You can find me on LinkedIn at Jhante Charles, and also YouTube as well at Cloud Tech Exec. We'll be dropping some more value eventually.
And for me, I just put my LinkedIn in the chat, but I'm also very active on Instagram. So there's only one with my name and spelled this way. So Dejanay Robinson on all platforms. And it was an honor. I'm seeing some of the chats. It was an honor to sit on this panel discussion for hearing gems and being a part of this opportunity. And I thank you all so much for engaging in this chat, and the GovTech team for all of everything you guys have done behind the scenes. I see you. I know it's not easy, but the poise and the composure that I've seen throughout this process, I have to give you those flowers. It is not easy. So thank you all so much. And I'll drop my LinkedIn one more time for anyone who wants to connect with me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate both of y'all for coming out and ending off the day one of GovTech Summit. This was an amazing first day, everybody. So if you're registered here, you're here right now, you will be automatically registered for the next 2 days of the summit. So next day of the summit is Saturday. What is that? September 6th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. And then the final day of the summit is going to be Monday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You really don't want to miss any of it, because as y'all can see here, we're going to be dropping gems the entire time. So a lot of valuable information, and every single day after this is going to have technical workshops as well. So be ready to learn about AI, be ready to learn about Linux, and be ready to learn about cloud, because we're going to have a lot of great talks and a lot of great speakers. All right, y'all. So I want to just make sure that everybody in here grabs their GovTech ticket, whether it's virtual or in person. I saw some people saying they can't make it in person. If you need to be able to convert your ticket, just send us an email. We'll get your ticket converted. But thank you so much, Jhante, and thank you so much, Dejanay, for coming out. We definitely appreciate y'all so much. And before we go, if there's some people that don't know how GovTechCon is, if you missed last year, you didn't see it, you didn't see it in person, you weren't able to see the recap or anything like that. Oh, I don't know why this is not working. Let's see. Oh, I guess that doesn't work on the webinars. I forgot. Let's see. So yeah, the sound doesn't work on the webinar. So what I'll do, I'll email out the recap so that way you all can see it. I want y'all to make sure you see this recap. And if you came in a little bit late on this one, you'll be able to find the full day one of the GovTech Summit on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/@GovTechCon. It'll come right up. Like I said, make sure you grab your ticket, because if you want to come in-person tickets are almost sold out, and the 50% off code for virtual is going to end on Monday after the last day of the summit. So I appreciate y'all. Check your emails for for everybody's information, their LinkedIn information, and for the recap for 2024, and any other information that you have. So thanks everybody for coming out. We'll see you on the next one. See you Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern.